Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations. I was the 2018 Innovation Award winner, handed up by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. As always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And I'd like to say welcome to some watchers on the Get Vocal platform. We've got Brad, Wayne, and Dre. Thank you so much for watching another epic conversation. We, as always, like to have new friends on the Dr. Vibe show, home of epic conversations, and we have another new friend. And who's this lady? I'll make her intro short and sweet, but she's got a lot of power behind the short and sweetness. Reverend Micaela Cordoba is a metaphysician and traditional healer and life guide. And she's broadcasting tonight from Puerto Rico. So if you see herself patting herself down during the conversation, there is a reason why, because it's hot like fire in Puerto Rico.
Hot like fire.
Yes, I had the pleasure and honor meeting or being introduced to her by Dr. Tachi. For those who know who Dr. Tachi is, he said, you have to have this lady on the Dr. Vibe show. So here she is. So welcome for the first time. Micaela, how are you?
I am very, very blessed. I feel very grateful. This is one of these, I love to call them God shots because, spirit brings you communications and connections with people. And you're like, why am I meeting this person now? And you're like, I don't know. Something is supposed to happen that's supposed to be a lot more fantastic or dynamic than our experience right now. There's something else happening. And I'm like, I don't know what that else is going to be. So, often I'm very surprised by what those else things are and how the communication for me is really about, making those connections real, and so Dr. Tachi, Shitachi, I've known Shitachi for 15 years now. If I have to think, it's been quite some time, 10 plus years. And she mentioned you to me, and I mentioned to her what I was up to. And she said, you two need to connect. So here we are connecting. Epic conversations.
Wonderful. I'm grateful that you're with us, and I'm grateful that we're going to have this epic conversation. I would like to find out, and the audience would like to find out a little bit about your background. Are you from Puerto Rico or from somewhere else?
And then this is what's so great about this story, because it's so funny when you start doing when you started working with clients, or when I started working with clients or energetic patients, I like to call them, you start really remembering people's lives and how you connect with them and what their purpose, in your sort of this makeup that you're kind of creating to be your story. And for me, the connection for Puerto Rico is actually the connection to the Caribbean, which my background, I'm Cuna. My whole family is from Panama. Viva Panama, Rubén Blades, hola. So, toda mi familia desde Panamá, y Panamá es en la Caribbeana. So, we're all mixcla, we're all family, we're all integrated in here. So, when I heard from a download from Spirit, which often happens for me, that I needed to go to the land of the sun, I was like, I don't know where that is. And Spirit was like, oh, you're going to find out. It's coming up. Just be patient. You'll hear it. And so what I heard was, oh, there's this project that needs assistance. Let me try Puerto Rico. So here I am. I jumped through the little technology wormhole, landed here 5 years ago originally, and began exploring my second phase of education, taking my medical Western background education, which was 12 plus years, learning what it was to actually work with patients and be in the Western modality of taking patient information, being in a hospital, being around people who are uncomfortable, being comfortable with people who are uncomfortable. All of those lessons I learned very young, very early on. So I've had a lot of discipline and structure that a lot of coaches nowadays aren't really familiar with because they don't have that background. So it's been interesting to kind of come to the modality of guidance work or coaching work, they like to call it, because I'm not really a coach. I'm more like I'm a guide. I guide you into the direction that you need to be going for your life, your path, your works, family, all of that. And so when I initially came to Puerto Rico, my intention was to really integrate the background in medicine, which has been very, very helpful because I want to be a alternative practitioner. So being an alternative practitioner means that I am really approaching my medicine from an alternative space, but having the blueprint or the structure, in which to build upon a foundation from my Western background. So I'm very grateful for all of the doctors that I shadowed, for all of the hospitals that I was in, for all of the scrubs that I wore, for all of the mornings that I was up before the sun, for all of the discipline year after year after year, because now when I don't sleep for 4 nights, I just think about those days and I channel my childhood. I channel grinding it up and getting up at the crack of dawn. And you kids don't know how easy you had it when back in the day when I had to go to school at 6 a.m. It's literally like I don't want to date myself, but the reality is, Dr. Vibe, is that a lot of us have a very different perspective around what study and work is versus what study and work is now. So I really am grateful for that process because it's allowed me to be really present to the fluidity of working with clients and patients, because I have both, not just one.
Very nice. So a few things, and just Wayne is saying here that's true about study and work. He says,
yes.
You said that this was a second career. Means that you said that's all about second. So was this originally you came from another path into this path?
Yes. Well, I was originally planning on going into Western medicine. I wanted to be an MD. I was preparing to be an MD from every way, shape, and form because that's what I was studying. I was studying biology. I was studying bacteriology, endocrinology, anesthesiology. I was studying and have been studying, like extensively, Saturdays. My mother, God rest her soul, like I've never seen anybody so disciplined in supporting their child's discipline, because I was asking her to do things above and beyond what a parent should have been doing on a Saturday morning, but I was determined because I was like, well, if I'm going to get into medical school, I have to be not only the best of the best, but I have to be doing the best of the best with the community of the, so it was like, okay, you want to get this, scholarship, huh? All right, kid. Well, you're going to have to basically go to school every day of the week except Sunday. And I was like, sign me up, coach, ready to go in. Let's go, and so that's what I understood to be what was necessary to become a doctor. So when my mother, in her infinite power, despite her infinite power, had physical issues, went into hospital for routine hip surgery, and very few people know this story. Very intimate people in my life know this story. I'm really outing myself right now, that a very major teaching institution, which I'd be happy to discuss, but it's really not about the teaching institution. It's more about what happened. And what happened is she was over anesthetized, not monitored, not given the proper support. The team of surgeons and anesthesiologists did not do their job. And what does that look like? That looks like the hand of what? Malpractice. So, slap you in the face. Sorry, your mom's dead. Sorry, kid. You have no other parent. Sorry, we're so sorry. Sorry about that. It's going to hurt for a little while. Actually, it's going to hurt for a long while. You're going to think about it every time you wake up. And so I was like, wow, what am I going to do about that? Do I really want to go into Western medicine now? Because my mother has been basically taken out by the hospital system that I've been, holding the torch for, no pun intended, day in, day out for years. I mean, if I was actually paid, Dr. Vibe, for the amount of energy, blood, sweat, and tears that I put into volunteer work, sponsorship work, shadowing work, I wouldn't have a problem with my finances. Let's just say that. So, there's a lot of time that you must sacrifice to the matrix of the military complex in order to get that MD after your name. And I just couldn't pony up for that dog and pony show after, they took out my only parent. I was like, no, thank you. I'm gonna go rogue. I'm gonna go the side of Neo and Trinity. Looking at the Matrix like, what? Yo, we're just over here chancing on a leaf, holding fire in rain. Can you do that? I can do that. I don't know about you though, son. I know you really good in that hospital where there's electricity and anesthesia and knives and all those other fantastic things. But can you really make it happen with your bare dedos, as they like to say in Spanish? Spanish, oh yes. Can you make it happen with your dedos and intention? Now, I would perceive that to be, my friend, Dr. Vibe, a little bit of a different communication than, oh, I have all of this team of support and everything is managed for me. And I've got 3 nurses who all are washing my behind and while wiping my brow. I wipe my own brow. I know how to do it. I have 5 hands, 5 fingers, a whole hand. I got another one on the left side. This space was cleansed and cleared for this frequency to be open for me to talk about this stuff tonight, because there's a lot of people who are going to be mighty upset when we get into the good juicy part. I got news for you. It's not even, we not even got warmed up yet. This is just the beginning. So I said no to the Western medicine, Dr. Vibe, and I've been practicing 20 years without MD next to my name. I do have an REV in front of my name, thanks to a very beautiful, handsome fellow doctor on the other side of the planet. I send him love and light, and I know he's going to see this because it's funny. It's a funny communication. When you've been doing this so long, and all of a sudden now it's like the in trend. I'm laughing about all of this, Dr. Vibe. I'm behind. As the kids like to say, you behind, son, you behind. And I have been. I've been off the grid, roaming the field, learning, gathering, reacting, experiencing, witnessing, and no technology for almost 4 years. So the last 6 months is the last time, literally the first time I've been online in almost 4 years total. And the shift has been drastic to the point where this has happened. This is possible. This is amazing to me. We are having a live show that anybody who comes into this portal can be a part of. I told a whole bunch of people about it. I don't know if they're watching right now, but we'll see. I'm excited for what this means because I went to school for this. I actually went to school to study and learn directing and writing. I learned it for video, for cable, and for film. And I spent a lot of money learning those things. So the fact that all these kids can just go click and you are in, I think that's fantastic, Dr. Vibe. I'm so excited that nobody has to spend the money on that anymore. It makes so much sense.
Well, that is good news, and I'm glad to hear that you found your passion and your journey. When you started doing this, so was the start easy to get into and start up with?
Well, actually, yes and no, because it turns out when I started, it's ironic because people talk about trendsetters or people who listen to trends or people who pay attention to trends. They're actually people who get paid a lot of money to trend set for companies and administrators and public relations businesses, marketing, etc., etc., etc. And I think that's really fantastic that you have no spiritual discipline or knowledge at all, but that you are going to charge somebody an exorbitant amount of money to tell them what is going to happen when. That sounds like some prophecy to me. I would love to be in that job, but this work that I do is prophetic and it is intense And it is very unpleasant sometimes because you know things before they're going to happen. And then you're trying to figure out, wait, am I going to tell this? Am I going to tell the whole world that this is about to pop off? Or do I kind of just do like Baha'u'llah, or do like Jesus, or do like any of the other quote unquote now called new thought leaders, people who are stepping out on the back, literally out on the edge there where nobody is standing, going, this doesn't make any sense, people. I'm a little bit confused by this. Everybody's kind of going along with, we're all little lemmings, just but nobody's going, hold up, time out, wait a minute, like this doesn't make any sense. So I started hearing things after my mother passed, and her violent passing, her passing was so violent. Nobody was prepared for it. My family lost their tree, literally. So what was once a very insular Latino Panamanian family became very disparate, very overwhelmed by a lot of rage, anger, discussions of confusion, what happened, frustration. All of these things are going on while I'm trying to figure out, now I have to be an adult in charge of what? Wait a minute. No. I just graduated college. I'm supposed to go to the Peace Corps. I'm supposed to go to Latin America, ironically. I'm supposed to go and start my life because I have worked for a long time and I have studied 4 years and I went to a very prestigious, hats off to Mount Holyoke. Massive win in my family. The first student to go to college and graduate in my family, which is very, again, all's huge, in my generation. My mother went back to school, ironically, and she was going to college while I was going to high school. So I saw somebody working very hard for their education. It was very inspirational to me. I was like, my mother is going to college. She's putting us through school and she's working full time. I was like, wow, she's really about her mind being expanding. So I need to get my stuff together and be determined about going to school. So I really studied hard. So when I had this massive toxic loss happen and I'm graduating college with this whole intention of starting my life in medicine and starting my communication and career in medicine and studying my MCAT for my MCATs and going abroad for the first time, because when you're a geek like I was, like Dr. Vibe, you don't go abroad your junior year. You're studying, like you're in college 4 years straight. You don't go, oh, I get to go abroad and I'm in Europe and I'm coiffing myself and learning my French. No, you're like, oh, I'm in the lab dissecting cats. And I need to be real about this is what I got to do because I'm trying to transform people's lives. I want people to be healthier, happier. How do I do that? Got to dissect cats because that's what the MDs are telling me. Well, at the end of the day, when all of the doctors came in to tell me they didn't know why my mother was dead, when all of the doctors had no explanation why a 47-year-old woman with no physical issues other than her bones were brittle and she had the wrong body, no pun intended, for all of the beautiful people trying to transform their bodies into the right one, but she just did not have the structure to hold up her system. She goes into an autologous blood surgery. Nobody else with blood on board but her own. Doctors that she's known for 10 years. Medically trained professionals that are in the best teaching hospital in the country. Not just in the city, not just in that state, but the country. And she's dead in T-2 hours? I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like, that just doesn't really work for my flow. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to talk to every shaman and every witch doctor about what it is. How do they do that? What are you doing? What's good with you over there? That's what I did. I graduated college and proceeded to step out into the world of, I don't know. I am unlearning everything that I learned. And I had no guides. I had a lot of little angels. Thank heaven for all my angels. I'm going to hopefully remember all of them at some point, and maybe they'll see me. Maybe they'll reach out to me, and please do. Dr. Magic Man, who worked on my cranial sacral work. The amazing, awesome social worker who told me about what it was to actually use medical marijuana in my practice because I didn't need to be on Prozac. She was like, no. You need to utilize alternative medicine. You need to be in yoga. You need to utilize, tea. You need to be outside. You need to be praying. You need to go raise your spirit with other people, Micaela. And then you could tell me, oh, I'm depressed. She's like, you're grieving. This is what happens. So my approach was very solo. It was very independent. It was like an independent study in spirituality and wellness. And nobody told me what to do or what not to do. So I created my own curriculum. And the irony was a very long curriculum, very interesting, very circuitous route, like most shamans. And I was living in an urban environment at the time, so my reality was very urban. I had a very urban perspective. Now it's a little bit more rural, but I still have a long way to go. I'm an elder. Technically, they consider me an elder because I've done this work more than 15 years, which is funny to me because I finally have some gray hairs, but I don't consider myself necessarily an elder. The reality is I've just had a lot more experience than a lot of other people. That's the truth. It's difficult for independent thinkers in the matrix. Yes, it is. Independent thinkers in the matrix, big bad Brad, this is true. Not to react to what's going on in the chat room, but I'm very nosy. I spent most years unlearning. What did he say, Wayne? I misspelled unlearning my school or something. Like what? Unlearning? Yeah, I think that's what's so weird about college, Wayne. Is like I learned everything that I needed to not learn. And ironically, at the end of college, I felt like I should have gone back to the beginning and been like, oh wow, I needed to actually start everything that y'all are giving me now in year 4, like in year 1. Like, why didn't I have economics then to balance this crazy ass credit cards that y'all are sending me? So I have this idea, and I'm going to approach my alma mater, and I'm saying it here live on Dr. Vibe here at 7:33 on Thursday, the 733. Sonia Stevens, Ms. President, I'm approaching you to share this knowledge of meditation. And there goes multiple things, so that's a good sign of meditation and wellness with the first year students of Mount Holyoke and whatever other 5 college system wants to jump on board. Because the truth is that had I not learned meditation, Dr. Vibe, I'd probably be a complete space cadet. I'd probably be a complete basket case with no ability to have handled the trauma that losing a parent, how I lost my parent, and the situations that have literally transformed my entire perspective on life since I began this journey. Had it not been for meditation, which I'm going to be speaking and talking about at length, it would have been, I'm kidding you not, I would not have survived this experience. Meditation has brought me the quantum tool to deal with this reality, this 3rd dimensional plane, this physical world, from a quantum place. That means that I am designing my reality. Like right now, I had to literally ask and be deliberate about designing this reality so that I could have peace, quiet, and space, sacred space, to do this really powerful discussion with you. And I had to have a really challenging communication in order to do that. But I was like, it's happening right now because I must be bigger than myself. There's got to be more out there. Thank you so much, brother. You're amazing too. I appreciate you. You in my 20s, your 20s, you're in your 20s. It's difficult to design. I can't see everything because it's in this cool chat thing that is for some reason hiding the communication, which is so weird. I don't know why this won't move. Anyway.
That's difficult to design your reality. That's what it's saying.
So it's just exactly. Quantum physics and quantum frequency does design one's reality. And there's a lot of people. I had this girl, I got to tell you, my shit is magical. I don't want my business coach, he says, stop using the word magical. You need to tell people that it's not woo-woo. And I'm like, but it is, son. I'm trying to tell people that it is woo-woo. That you just got to have a lot of practice in the woo-woo because then it works. Like, it's like any other muscle. It's like any athlete. I'm just top of my game in my athleticism. And I'm not being an egomaniac. Believe you me. I have died to my ego. And I will tell you the story about the death of my ego, but that is not in this discussion. We will talk about ego death. Maybe Dr. Vibe will ask me back if y'all like this enough, and I will talk to you about what ego death really is. That will really trip y'all out. But this is not about ego. This is called divine confidence. You know, Spirit brought me here to be a communication and to be a teacher to people and for people who have no mama, who have nobody in their corner, who ain't got no cheerleading squad, who are out there by themselves, like praying, chanting, meditating on their own. And guess what? I'm here with you, because it's hard being on your own. It's hard being on your own, trying to establish your spiritual perspective. So that's what I'm really trying to do right now. I'm really trying to create a space, a sacred safe haven, an asylum, not asylum, but, you know, an asylum, an oasis. Let's use another word, because that's not the word I want to use. Let's use the word oasis. Let's use very goddess-like and royal-like words. Let's use the word oasis. Let's use the word Mecca. A Mecca for the transformed, the unicorn, the vibrationally open, the dynamically challenged, the communication discussion, the ahora, you know, the reality that what is what you can make it, is what you choose to make it. Like, we choose to make our drama, or we choose to make it smooth. Like, I know that. I just had an incident where it could have been mad dramatic, and I was like, let me cut up some pineapple. Let me collect some rainwater. Let me sweeten my mouth. Let me brush my teeth. Let me put on my cool makeup and put my hair down and come to the communication with as much positivity, constructivity, and light as possible, because I've been operating with no communication because I'm afraid. Okay, so as soon as you step out of fear, Dr. Vibe, and you step into the fact that I love myself and I want to love this situation up to transform it, anything is possible. And that's where people are jacked up. Not to use any kind of negative language, but that's where people come to me, because they're focused on the wrong, focused on the fear. I can't, I shouldn't have, oh my God, I don't want to disappoint you. I'm overwhelmed. I have too much on my plate. Mama, my head hurts. I'm a kid. I want somebody to just tell me it's going to be okay. Okay. All right. So then you stop them from crying, because adults cry. And I have a lot of adult children. I have had a lot of adult children. The adult children that I've heard I have, it's just funny, because people are like, oh, are you a teacher? And I'm like, I used to say no, but the truth is, yes, I am a teacher. I model my behavior. So I'm really trying to do the action that I want my client, that I want my patient, that I want my communication to be able to, like, really go like, yes, that makes total sense. And yes, we're going to help you out with that. And you go, of course, you're going to help me out with that, because what am I doing? I'm doing the work of Great Spirit. I'm doing the work of transforming pain, which people have so much here in Puerto Rico. Wow. Into power. Transforming pain into bliss and ease and grace, which, you know, I entered a situation that was very painful. It was very painful to be around, because somebody just lost her parent, and she lost one of her primary parents. And it was extremely painful for me to be around, because it reminded me of my situation when I lost my mother. And I was like, oh, wow, this is going to be hard for me to deal with. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Ugh. And Spirit was like, you made a contract. You said, Micaela, to your higher self, Micaela, you said, from your higher self, Micaela, if I see another woman in need who comes to this table, who's like, I need help, I want to help her because she has the ability to do this work, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work and I'm going to help her as much as I can. And the universe is going to thank you with a little bit of grace, and going to thank you with shelter and a space in which to put out your voice to the frequency, because you don't have no car, Micaela. Because you playing like JK right now, like traveling without moving. Hey, hey. Yeah, you gotta be traveling without moving. I literally have to travel virtually, metaphysically, spiritually, because I have no actual car. once in a while, I mean, I have the gratitude and the grace of this beautiful sister who makes sure that I don't starve here in my space. But I'm not growing all my food yet. Working on that right now. I'm not harvesting all my own fruit yet. Working on that right now. So go ahead, Dr. Vibe. Sorry.
I just want to interrupt here. Now, I do want to, with the time we have left, I wanted to
Yes.
have you focus on in regards to our conversation topic, the black or white, the racial communication
Yes.
modalities. So if you could shed a little light on the importance of healing modalities and how it can be applied during this time where the races are in conflict in a number of areas, not only maybe in Puerto Rico, but around the world. What are your thoughts on what application do you use in regards to healing in this time of racial challenge?
Excellent question. Um, I I mean, it's interesting to kind of really be in the communication of what it is to deal with racial stratification, internal racism, to be dealing with the discussion of internal racism and being, you know, pigeonholed or scapegoated for being very unique in whatever you do. So, you know, for me, I've been kind of operating in the cut, you know, like I'm not, no offense to anybody out there, you know, because there's a lot of people who are very public. And honestly, that's probably why I've stayed private as long as I have, because I wanted to survive. And I've stayed alive this long, and I'm laughing because it's really not funny. You know what I mean? This is not a joke. Like, people lose their lives because they're out here on the edge going, I could help you with cancer. I could help you with diabetes. I could help you with, you know, paralysis. I could help you with losing weight and keeping the weight off. I could help you with all of those things. You just need to be intentional and have the discipline to follow through with me and make sure that you compensate me for my time, and you don't lie to me, you don't cheat me, and you don't manipulate me, and I won't manipulate you. And these things are very difficult out here in the black and white communication because people are used to a certain way of being, and they're used to their perception of how they see black people, how they see African people, how they see black Africans, how they see Afro-Latinas, how they see black Americans. I mean, I have to say that I kind of don't fit in any one of these paradigms. So the challenge that I have really had is that I'm kind of like a unicorn kid, and I'm out here with my big old horn, and I'm, you know, tromping around trying to talk to the other horses, and nobody wants to talk to the unicorn kid because you got a big old stake going through the top of your dome. And I really understand what it is to be on, like, you know, the broken toy island kind of communication. Like, nobody likes me. I'm out here by myself. I'm a broken toy. It's not really that you're broken. Usually most of the people that I meet are actually not broken. They're actually very uniquely put together and very unusually situated and very, you know, dynamically charged, and have, you know, people call it that they operate on the spectrum. So I work with a lot of people on the spectrum, you know, people who are on both sides of the spectrum. You know, one side is very challenging to work with, the narcissistic sociopathic side. And then you got the other side, which is also very challenging. You've got the Asperger's nonverbal side, you know. So these, we operate in this huge, I call it the rainbow, because we are on a rainbow spectrum. And communicating with people in these two sides of the spectrum for the last 20 years is what has given me the capacity to actually go, yes, I can listen to you, even though you're saying the same thing 5 times. And I've heard you say it 5 times, but that's how you need to communicate. So, you know, I heard you. And I'm like, okay, that's how many times you need to say it. Now we'll go on to the next thing. And then I have another person who wants me to read their minds. You know, I need to jump through the wormhole of their minds and know what they're thinking by their body language and their nonverbal communication, and then act accordingly. So we have, you know, I have both sides in my capacity that are literally happening in the same week, sometimes in the same hour of communication. So it's very important that I establish patient, doctor, alternative healer, metaphysician, reverend role versus I'm your bestie and you're calling me up and it's cool and we're just hanging out. Like, it's because, there are all of these parameters of experience that are happening as the reverend mama, caretaker, nurturer role. But there's also the reality that somebody is going, I don't have this in my life. I've got husband, I've got wife. If you are, I've got husband and wife. If you're throupling, you got husband, wife, and, mistress. Like, you got all those things going on, but nobody's going, what's happening with you, George? Tell me about your life, George. Like, what's going on with you? And really just there to hear what George has to say. And that's a facet of reality that a lot of people are kind of hating on, because they're like, oh, well, that's not really work. You're not working. You sit around, you talk to people all day. And I'm like, well, there's Socrates, there's Plato, I can keep going and going and going. All these dudes, they just sat around and thought all day long, but they, they're thinking of philosophical koans and Buddhist like, we are really in a new paradigm, Dr. Vibe, where somebody like me, who is actually on the ground doing the healing work on a metaphysical, physical, and spiritual level, but also on a physical level, because you can come to me with a cold and you leave and you don't have the cold anymore. Like, I deal with both facets. I'm able to say, yes, that's how I earn my income. That's how the electricity is on right here. And thank God the electricity is on. I'm grateful for liberty and all the beautiful little zeros and ones that got transferred so that I'm able to communicate with you live at 7:48 p.m. from Puerto Rico on the west side of the island. Excellent. So yeah, it's not easy, actually. This is very difficult. It's very challenging work. And people who don't understand how challenging this is can basically just DM me and give me a call. They can look at all my beautiful, offerings for the month of August, and I will be happy to discuss with them what it is they need help with, because this is the work that I've been doing. I don't have a capacity of getting paid doing anything else very well. I've tried. It just doesn't work out for me well anymore. So advocacy work and everything connected to this spiritual work is how I generate my income. Laugh out loud. Hello, Reverend Micaela. Hello, Melvin Casey. Nobody asked me. Hey, Mr. Melvin. I love your name, Melvin Casey. Thank you so much, brother. Hello, yes, it's Reverend Cordoba, just to let you know. Nobody calls me Reverend Micaela. But thank you so much, darling. I appreciate you being in the frequency. Nice to meet you, Brad and Wayne. Awesome. All, you guys, please join the frequency. Join me on my Instagram. You'll be able to hear a lot more what's going on. Dr. Vibe and I are probably going to have another fantastic discussion at some point in the near future.
So I just want to add, how often do you have to address racism or racism in your coaching practice?
In my what? I didn't hear you.
In what you do in your daily, everyday life, or with your clients, how often do you address racism?
How do I address racial? Such an excellent question. I usually don't. I usually just kind of ignore them and ignore it. I just put out the vibe. I'm Afro-Latina. You're looking at a Black Latin woman. And yes, I'm communicating to you from a place of discipline and structure. And yes, you are compensating me a very high rate for doing that, because I've been doing it for 20 years. And I've been working in the health and wellness modalities for 32 years. So that's older than most of my clients right now. So most people are like, that doesn't seem normal. Look at you, girl. You don't have no wrinkles. I'm like, black don't crack. Thank you so much, Great Spirit, Mommy, Grandma Myrtle, Mommy, Celia, Verna. Thank you, everybody on the higher frequency, because y'all gave me great genes and a Kuna tribe. Kuna tribe is matrilineal. So I'm doing the work of Great Spirit. I'm very grateful that, nice to meet you too, brother. I'm very grateful that the universe, what's my Instagram? At Metaphysician Mama, Wayne. Metaphysician, META, physician, PHYSICIAN, Mama, MAMA. That's my Metaphysician Mama. You can follow me there. Y'all want to check me out on Instagram? I'll be on Instagram. Y'all want to check me out on YouTube? I'll make sure to give Dr. Vibe all this good stuff. And I think it's connected somehow to this frequency. I don't know. But I'm very easily found. I'm on YouTube as well. It's just Micaela Cordoba on YouTube. my first and last name. So yeah. So yes, I'll be doing, this is actually officially, because this is being recorded, I'm going to hopefully be able to link this to my YouTube page. And this is my first official broadcast for my IGTV show called The Quantum Frequency, because I'm using quantum technology, thank heaven, for Instagram television to do what I was going to school and getting paid. That's my Instagram. There you go. Thank you so much, Dr. Vibe, for linking that up. To get paid, people are doing this it's amazing. All you need is a phone. Do you know how fantastic this is? Kids, you are so lucky. Congratulations for technology. I'm serious. New York Film Academy, it was expensive, y'all. That shit wasn't cheap. None of this stuff was cheap. So I'm just so interested and curious about what's happening because, for me, addressing my racial issue is the fact that, yes, there are some Black healers out there, and I don't want to be rude, and I don't want to be disrespectful, and I don't want to be mean, and I don't want to be snarky. I am going to be very goddess-like in my communication right now. And I'm going to say this. There are a lot of people who have been in the frequency doing this work for a very long time. Very long time. And they have cornered their market on this frequency, meaning there's a market and there's people that are in that market that just go to them because they just like that. They just like it. They're familiar with them. I am creating an entire new frequency, and it's an entire new market. And I know I'm directing and digesting and trend setting in a new market because I'm Rasta, because I'm Latina, because I'm Afro-Latina, because I'm Black, because I'm Panamanian, because I live in Puerto Rico, because I'm an expat, because I'm not doing anything the way normal people do it, because I'm doing all of these things that are different than white people see Black people doing. And white people see Black people in this healing modality doing. Like, oh, Black people don't do that normally. They normally just do this. And I don't know what she's talking about. She's talking about mental wellness therapy. Oh, I'm not calling up no random woman that she gonna mentally shrink me and head shrink me. And then I'm like, I'm not a head shrinker. I don't do head shrinking. I do authentic, traditional, indigenous, energetic psychology. It really is about what it is to communicate with somebody from an energetic, spiritual place, to really go, wow, what's going on with you in your world? Oh, I'm so glad you filled out my 40 questionnaire, my 40, point questionnaire. Now I have a little bit more clarity around who you are. Thank you so much for filling out my patient form, because I could send that to you. And I don't care what color you are. I don't care what side of the bed you sleep on. I don't care if you put on a skirt, if you like wearing skirts and pants. I don't care if you have 3 husbands and a wife. None of that is information that is important and pertinent to me as a yes or no. It's important and pertinent to me as information to understand who you are so that I'm better able to communicate effectively with you and go, oh, how are the 4 kids? How is your husband and your wife? So I'm not being disrespectful or rude because it doesn't matter to me. People have unusual relationships nowadays. And you know what? It is fantastic that you can find love anywhere. Anywhere. And, hi, Dawn. Nice to meet you, Dawn. It is wonderful. Please do find love. If you can manifest love with 2 other people and nobody's getting hurt and everybody's happy, making love, not making no war, kids are happy, bills are paid, y'all doing better than me right now. I live solo in my little casita, so I give props to you. Let me find out what it is that you're doing so that I could understand how I could support that, because clearly you're doing something correct. It's clearly something wonderful is happening. And yes, the racial discussion from the communication of white America in yoga, in alternative health and wellness, in the Omega Institutes and the Pacifica Institutes and all of the alternative schools of thought that are very well established by Caucasian communities, receiving Caucasian clients, going to discuss with Caucasian communications from a Caucasoid background. I'm like, okay, that's great. Everybody's Caucasoid. Woo, awesome. That's not a communication I understand, Dr. Vibe. So because that is not a communication that works for me, I have to create my own. I think, I don't know who said it, or I heard it the other day. I can't remember what what beautiful goddess or God said it, Adonis, was like, oh, I know who it was. Mr. Tyler Perry. They told me that I had to eat at this table. I went and made my own in Atlanta. And God loved Tyler Perry for going to make his own table because he created an entire canon of technology, of media that now is just like, woo, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. And not everybody wants to drink that tea and go, yes, I love Tyler Perry, but it's an option. And that's what I'd like to create for people. I'd like there to be options. I'd like there to be an option other than Omega Institute or Pacifica. Like, okay, people, you mean to tell me $50,000 or $150,000 and I have to go and there ain't nobody that look like me? There's nobody that look like me. Nobody would like, hello, like, okay, who am I talking to? Who am I? Wait, I'm dialing up and I'm hearing who? Oh, okay. And you're Bob from Arizona. All right, Bob from Arizona. Well, my name is Micaela Daniel Cordoba. I'm a Moor. My lineage is thousands of years old. I can't even trace it. How am I supposed to talk to you, Bob from Arizona, about what I'm trying to learn at Omega Institute? I don't know, Dr. Vibe. There's this, I like to call it the gap. When you go on the train in New York, when I was a child, and my grandmother used to take me with her hand to Maze with all the cash in her wallet, because my grandmother didn't do no credit. She didn't do no credit. My grandmother used to roll hard with cash. Walk up in the store, she used to say, watch the gap. Mind the gap, Micaela, when you get off the train. There's this gap, Dr. Vibe, and the gap is getting larger and larger to see because there's less and less people operating in it. There's less of me in it. There's not very many of me in this gap, Dr. Vibe. And it's scary because you're out here and I'm like, yo, I'm out here by myself, son. Like there's nobody that look like me out here. Like, wow. All I see is, okay, it's Wayne. It's, and I'm, don't get me wrong. I love me some Wayne Dyer and all these people and everything. Yeah, Pacifica, loud. I love all of that stuff. And I love me some Louise L. Hay and holla for my girl, like, Florence Scovel Shinn. You really want to throw back. I'll give you the juicy nuggets that like got me started because nobody was doing. I didn't have any point of reference. It's like, who's doing what? Wait a minute, what you talking about? You want to do what? You want to do a movie and a show and a whole documentary and nobody knows who you are and you're going to get the rights to what? And you trying to do, never heard of Omega? Look it up, Don. Omega Institute. Check it out. See if you see any Black or Latino people teaching any classes there, Don. And you give me a holler. You find anybody, you can send it to me directly. Metaphysician Mama. I bet you wouldn't. I bet you won't. Because they don't know what is going on. So it's like, how do you operate within this gap when there's no people there, when there's no options there? There's one extreme or the next. It's like I get the yoga path, I get the yogi. Everybody does yoga. Okay, great yoga, and then everybody does what? Massage. I'm like, what about? Is there anything in the middle, people? We got anybody gonna like really help me out when I break through some serious trauma through my yoga practice? And then it's like I got all these hanging tendrils now. How do I bend them in? Where's my ancestral connection? Where's my connection to spirit? Where's my connection to my faith? Am I gonna get that in a seminar with black curtains and no light? Am I gonna get that in an internal environment where there's no running water and I can't see the sun and there's no moon and there's no stars? Is that what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get my enlightenment in that way, right? Dr. Vibe, I gotta say, like, I'm doing things very traditionally, and I'm a traditional shamana, and I'm really trying to operate in a traditional format in this urban reality, because the kids today, all they know is Snapchat, Instagram. Show me, give it to me now, here. I want it. Here's the pill, and I can't do that for most people because the truth is, Dr. Vibe, is there is no pill for this. There is no pill. One makes watches, the other's made the ocean. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Oh, ocean. That's funny. Yeah. Omega watches and the Pacific Ocean. This dude. You got jokes, Mr. Herbie. I like Mr. Herbie with his jokes. Yeah, Omega watches, brother. Yeah, go check out Omega watches. I see where you at. The clock is you on here with the clock. I haven't worn a watch in 10 years, Mr. Herbie, so I don't know. I can't help you out. So the reality is, Mr. Herbie and everybody else in the frequency, all the gentlemen that joined us, I know that our time is coming to a close because we have a time frame that we've jumped through here. But the reality is that, yes, it's difficult being Black. It's difficult being an African Latina. It's difficult being an Afro-Latina. And it's difficult walking with poise and grace in my life because most people expect me to be slovenly, lazy, stupid, small-minded, poor-spoken, unintelligent, ignorant, small thinking, small behaving. And I don't understand that communication at all. That's not the communication of my ancestors. That's not the communication of my upbringing. That's not the communication of my education. I don't have a conversation. I appreciate that you said the home of epic conversations because it's deep. For me, that word con, it comes from a very different context in my life because people have been try to emotionally con you out of things that you were supposed to be getting compensated for. Like, no, actually talking on the phone with me is my job. Like I have a download that I really want to have you listen to me about, sister. I had a download. I'm like, great. There goes my link. Follow up to the videotape. And I'd be happy to talk to you about your download, brother. We could zoom it up. We could IG video it up. We could do plain on phone call. You want to come here to Puerto Rico? You could rent yourself an Airbnb. We go for a walk on the beach and I will listen to your download in person. But just know this, my time is spiritually supported, and my spirit guides do not like me being without fruit, live water, or a shelter for me to live in. Because when that happens, they get upset with me. They're like, Micaela, you've been doing this too long. You need to take a stand for yourself, Micaela. You need to say to somebody, Micaela, you need to say, excuse me, sir, excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, light being, who don't want to be identified as sir or ma'am. I appreciate that you want to be on the cusp. That is totally fine by me. I appreciate being out there with nobody is in tune with me. I get that. Let me explain something. My time is my spiritual currency. That is how I'm able to be here on this planet. Thank goodness. Thank goodness Spirit saved me to this point. And then I continue to do spiritual work. And I will, with God's grace, continue to do spiritual work. Because that's what I'm here to do. And there's nothing else to say except hello, Tony Davis. Hello, Big Brad. Again, Dr. Vibes, easiest interview. Yes, he's an awesome interviewer. Thank you so much. I'm glad that you guys loved it. Just as long as you pay the yoga tuition. The yoga tuition, yo, son, I didn't do no yoga tuition. I paid something else, but thank you, Mr. Herbie. He funny. I like Mr. Herbie.
All right. Well, we're going to
start. Yeah, it's been profound. I appreciate the communication of Black and white in this discussion, Dr. Vibe. And I really hope the Black practitioners are cool with my discussion and that people reach out to me. I would love to hear all the Black practitioners out there making their money. They want to share some of that wonderful network with me. I don't know many metaphysicians doing the work that I do. I'd love to join. I have some awesome offerings coming up. The link is there. I think I've sent it to you, brother, for the month of August. And I'm doing this in the name of my mother. The month of August is her birth month. So all the Leos who want to reach out and want to connect and want to spiritually, get a little bit more clarity, feel free to drop it like it's hot. My DM is always open. I am on Facebook through Messenger. I love to connect with people on Messenger. And Dr. Vibe, I will be sending you the invitation for my Zoom room meditation, which I have 100 spots. 100 spots. Manifest a lot of greatness with 100 spots. Thank you so much, brother, for inviting me to be a part of this communication.
Thank you so much for taking the time. And I gave out the Reverend Cordoba's Instagram link earlier on via the chat room in Get Vocal. And I will just put it out there. I think I'm going to put it out there again. If not, it will be part of the replay when I post this epic conversation. So first things first, Reverend, I'd like to say thank you for taking time in your positive, productive schedule to share with us. I'd like to also thank Don, Herbie, Tony, also Donald, all the way from Denmark. Big Bad Brad, as always. We had some people jumping on via Facebook and also on YouTube. And as always, I like to say it's Dr. Vibe. I'm the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations. If you want to catch out more of these, either audio or video wise, best place to go to is my website, the drvibeshow.com. As always, remember, live your life as a dream if you can dream it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. And I'm just waiting for one last thing to come up and we will sign up. Sorry for the delay, folks. I'm getting a little bit of a cold, so I got to behave myself. So let's start from the top. Live your life as a dream. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Next up, sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. And then finally, aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. God bless people. Keep the faith, and we'll chat with you soon. Walk good. Good night, everybody.
Give thanks, Dr. Vibe. Have a blessed evening.